Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Dream Crushers 1 versus 1 tournament. We are here this evening with the 6 best players from the remainder of the tournament. They're playing off in the semi-finals. Basically, it's a 1 versus 1, best of 3 format, tier 10, random map. The opponent won't know what each other's taking in terms of tanks, so it's going to be very interesting to see how that pans out. In terms of, who's taking what. It's a best of 3, so, the first match they're going in blind. They're not going to anticipate what kind of tank the opponent is taking. So basically, you've got 6 guys, 3 of those are playing 3 of the others, and then whoever goes through from those matches goes through to the grand finals, and that is going to be a round-robin format, where each of the winners from the semi-finals will play off against each other for the grand prize from Dream Crushers 1 versus 1 tournament. Mm-hmm. Now, up first, we've got Shappy Nova from the Nov 4 clan, and CyberGhost from Dream Crushers coming up first. As I said, random map. It's going to be an encounter battle mode, so no supremacy caps. I'll be honest with you guys, this is the first time that I've done any commentary on a 1 versus 1 tournament, so I'm not really sure what to expect. I've played a few 1 versus 1 matches. It's tough. It's a really tough battle format. You have to forget everything that you've learned from your other Blitz experiences. 7 versus 7 games. Yeah, it's the 7 versus 7 games, clan war games. They have no bearing on this. Mm-hmm. This is really tactical one-on-one tanking. It's a test of willpower, guile,
and mostly a test of like how many patience do you have to wait till the other makes a mistake.
Yeah, because it's 1v1, every shot that you miss or you bounce is key. And if you're the first person to push, you're putting yourself out in the open on the enemy.
Yep.
And the first person to push they're giving up the advantage of cover and they're handing the cards to the enemy. But the way that everyone at home knows how the format works, obviously with this being a very kind of demanding game in terms of patience, if it comes to a draw or if no tank is destroyed at the end of the match, the winner is the player that has inflicted the most damage. So there is pressure on these guys to try and engage their opponent effectively and aggressively. Now, I'm from my personal leanings on tanks, I'm going to be expecting guys to be running calibrated shells on the equipment loadouts. I'm expecting very mobile tanks. I'm not anticipating very slow and sluggish tanks with poor view ranges.
E3.
But you never know. You never know. I wouldn't drive an E3. Don't get me wrong. That would be me absolutely out of it. So I guess we're all ready to go.
Yes.
We're starting?
Yeah. Well, we have to make I'm restarting my game because I couldn't see the chat. But we have to make it fair for both of the players. They can't see each other their tanks, so. I'm not gonna let an E5 play against an E3, so that's unfair,
Really? I mean, they can't see each other's tanks though, so surely they know that they're.
Yeah, but it's same type versus same type.
I see. I get you.
Okay, cool. Look, this is better. Okay, so we are going to start, and actually we haven't notified or make it clear yet that we actually deleted the last round, since we have it will take too much time. So we just make the round robin where we're the stage 3, sorry. We make that as a final. So this will be with points. Will be directly the final. So. Yeah, well, to make short time, and maybe some other people can play their tournaments or whatever they want to do.
Absolutely. Okay, so as we're looking at it, we've got Shappy Nova. Shappy, he is pushing up in the T110 E5 Rebel. Love that camouflage scheme. He's going all the way up to what would be the C cap on Supremacy. He's starting with only 80 less HP than CyberGhost from Dream Crushers clan in the IS4. Now, as you'd expect, the more mobile E5 has gone up the hill. He's looking to get that sort of, play the rugged terrain here, get the hull down advantage, use that gun depression. Cyberghost in the IS-4, though, is making good use of his armor. He is pushed into the city, where his tank is arguably the most effective. And you've got to remember, these guys went into the fight not knowing what tank their opponent would be taking.
And which map,
they knew that course. Yeah, exactly. Going in blind. Thank you. Yeah, so not knowing what map you're going to be on and what tank you're going to be against. So it's not like they could really prepare for any kind of the eventualities going into this map other than what tank they'd be driving. So what we're seeing here is no one's spotted yet. This is quite interesting. They're playing, and this is what we were talking about earlier, Dutch. This is this very passive. No one wants to, as soon as you give up the first damage, if you're take the first damage, you're immediately in such a disadvantaged position.
Well, it's not directly a disadvantage, because if you manage to take the shell and you have a better DPM, you are seriously able to do big damage. But you have to make clear, or at least make sure you can penetrate every shot. And like yesterday, we saw some bad trading, and guys keep bouncing each other. That's just not how how a 1v1 works. A 1v1 is just keep being passive and just don't take the advantage. Let the enemy make a mistake, and trying to trade when it really comes on to trading, you have to keep trading. And you have to know that when you give a shot and the other enemy has 7 seconds reloading, you have 10. You have to know that he can maybe put 2 in you before he takes before you take 1. So
yeah, and this is a comprehensive knowledge of the tanks in the game really pays off. These guys that we're seeing in this final stage, they've probably got a lot of tier 10 tanks in their garage. They've probably got a lot of battles at tier 10. They sort of know what characteristics and parameters they can expect from their tank and from their opponent's tank. And that's where it really comes in, this decision-making, kind of juggling choices and options in terms of, okay, do I push now? Do I have enough time to get 2 in before he reloads? These kind of things. And in terms of this lineup, like we've seen, the tanks are, in terms of terrain, they're sticking to the ground that favors them. The E5 isn't going into the city. He knows the IS-4 is going to give him a really hard time in a street fight. Similarly, the IS-4 knows that the streets are his friend, and he is not pushing up that hill, because as soon as he gets into this kind of hilly terrain where the E5 is, towards the east side of the map, he's at a disadvantage. So at the moment, they're roving backwards and forwards. They know roughly, they know the other person is on the other half of the map, and they're trying to spot one another, but they keep missing each other at the moment. Yeah. We're 4 minutes in. And some people might think this is quite dull, but for me, you're seeing here players making, this is top-level play, top-level decision-making. You've got to put yourself in these guys' shoes, There's everything to play for. There's no team to come and help you. The pressure is all on you. And so, and we're looking here, Shapi, he's been coming down the hills. He did it on the north end, and now he's on the south end. I think he's going to be the player who caves first and strays into enemy territory in terms of terrain. If he waits long enough, this could be a good move, because you see here, if he sticks here alongside and Cyberghost exposes, he's lost the lane. If he does this, if he can whoever spots, now the E5 I believe has got the longer view range. Now if he can get the spot in, and we're gonna do something, both spotted.
Both
but
the
E5
and he misses.
Well, he tracked him. He actually destroyed the track of the IS-4 there. They're both spotted. Now the E5 is in a very strong position. But both of them switching to HE. They're playing for the damage now. There's less than 2 minutes to go. It'll be quite difficult for 2 heavy tanks, really, to take each other out when they're being played by such skillful commanders. So, now they're both reloaded. They both know where the other one is. Now, the E5 is in a bit of a harder... Well, he actually can move. But if he moves out, he's in quite a bad situation. He'd get caught in the open or potentially in the city. Where he is now, he's in a beautiful hull down spot for his tank. The only thing the IS-4 can do is use HE, and similarly, all he can really do from there. Well, actually, no, he can get the lower plate potentially, but he's pushing the IS-4 Cyber Ghost there, working that corner. He's trying to side scrape. He doesn't know that E5 slanking round, but now they've been proximity spotted. And I think the E5 is going to... Oh, no, he should be using his DPM to his advantage. But no, he's got the front armor of the IS-4 there.
This is hard. When he peeks, he knows that he's going to lose hit points, and now he does. And actually, he has now the lessest DPM, because IS-4 has great DPM. But still, he managed to take a shot. But Cyber Ghost actually takes a shot as well in his turret. Will he able to penetrate him again?
Well, both of them using... The IS-4 shouldn't really struggle to penetrate the E5 up front, face-hugging here. But maybe I speak too soon. But it's very close. I mean, the E5 is technically only one shot behind, but he has to get if he can get another bounce in here, if he can wiggle that turret, yes! Now it's swinging in the favor of Shappy. He's really using the premium ammunition on the E5 to great effect. Going in there and using that treacherous E5 faceplate. And that is victory number 1 to Shappy, I would suspect. Let's just check the scores. Yeah, 1,446 damage points to Shappy and 959 points to Cyber Ghost. And that's quite surprising for me. I thought, the E5 pushing in on the city against the IS-4 would be in the favor of Cyber Ghost. What did you take home from that battle, Dutch?
Well, I think they did. The E5 did a great job with pushing down, because he knew the IS-4. Well, he could barely come up without getting spotted. So, but the E5 managed to grab down and come in good hold down position. And from that on, he got some shots, but he went in in a straight way to him and just tried to come around, and it was pretty good what he did, but. Maybe some. Well, he has to penetrate his shots.
Yeah, I think the IS-4. I mean, I know the front, the chassis, the hull of the E5 is quite tricky. It's very rounded. It's surprisingly good at face hugging. Not a lot of people use it that way. And since it had the buff removing the cupola on the turret, it's become a very strong tank in a brawl. Excellent penetration numbers, really good gun handling. And the IS-4 there, he really needed to bounce less shots. Let's see.
Okay, so we have now an E3 against an E5. Sky, can you say anything in the chat? What do you think? This is cool, what we do now? I guess it's cool just to E5 against E3. It's actually Cyber Ghost's choice, because he might be in a disadvantage at the moment. So.
Well, I mean, the E3 has been buffed, and if Shappy, for example, has just had a really good run in the E5. It would be foolish for him to change tank. So maybe Cyber Ghost, he knows, for example, that his opponent is going to be rocking up in an E5. And the E3, it's a solid tank. And with 600 alpha, and good traverse numbers, really good armor profile frontally.
So, but now we are in an advantage for the E5. Actually, I think, because there's not an E3 spot where you can get hold down.
Well, there's a few spots.
Yeah.
There's a few, but the question is, the E5 needs to be playing... Shappy saying, I thought he had to take heavies. He's potentially not very happy about opponent's choice of tank. I can't comment on the suitability of these tanks, so that will be something for the organizers. But I think it's quite balanced here. The E5 again. Look at this dune, this undulating terrain. This really plays to his favor. But also, you got to remember the E3 is no slouch hull down. The question is really going to be who sees who first, who puts themselves in the strongest position to start an engagement from, and whether the E5 can get on the side armor of the E3, because going in frontally through the E3 isn't reliable, HE damage on that top cupola, that can be quite reliable. That's actually not a bad spot in the kind of 1v1 scenario to spam. If you can work from a if you can work from a good position.
Is now already rushing down the bridge, and he will meet the E5 actually if the E5 doesn't go back. But he has now hit butt turned to him. When E5 keep moving forward, he will be able to spot him, and maybe can manage to get a side shot already. And nevertheless, the E5 has a hit point advantage of 120, and that's
220 actually.
220. Sorry, my calculation feels bad, man.
Easy mistake. But no, I
blame my math teacher.
I will. I'll send a note. Both of these tanks are American. Now, the E3's side armor, I would say, is arguably not. I mean, in terms of side scraping, is not as good as the E5. I don't know. I have a lot of success in the E5, eating shots up into the track. But both of them have got very weak rear armor. Now, it's going to be almost impossible for the E3 to come up behind the E5 unless there's some fluke of maneuvering happening at this stage.
But now the E5 will be able to spot the E3 in a second.
Well, yeah. And this is the E3. When he goes up here, he's spotted. He hasn't actually spotted the... Oh, no, he has. The IS-5s, and now they know where they are. And Shappy's really lost an opportunity there because he should have been capitalizing on that side armor. Shooting the enemy when he couldn't shoot him back. That's the issue, the lack of a turret. Oh, CyberGhost goes in. 643. And Shappy actually gets a bounce. Now, where is CyberGhost going? Okay, I thought he was going to go up the ramp, and I was like, okay, that's a very interesting choice. But this E3, I mean, he's got the reload and the maneuverability. Now the E5 has to make sure that he doesn't let the E3 get away, and the E3 has to make sure that the E5 doesn't get around him. Because if the E5 gets behind him, but he's spotted, it'll be game over. And he is not having any luck. At least I think he's firing HE. I can't be sure.
Mm-hmm.
And that is really unlucky for the...
Again.
Well, this is... He's not that far behind. But he's... Oh, brilliant. That was a good shot of heat. Now, he knows he's going to have him on... He's letting the E3 push up. He's got him tracked. Okay, so now CyberGhost has used one of his extremely valuable track repair kits. It's 1v1. If Shappy's got any common sense at all, he's going to be going for the tracks. If I was Shappy, knowing he just used a repair kit, I would be pushing hard, aiming for the tracks, trying to get behind him. But he's taken a damage. He has to get the track shot in here. Otherwise, he is going to be toast in two. I don't think he's actually going to have him in terms of the traverse numbers, but he's using the hill there. Excellent shot, gets the track in. That buys him some time. He's really got a whole ass. He's going to take one, but he gets the bounce. Oh, didn't see that coming. Well. Yeah, E3 using the ram. He's going to try and push the E5 up against the back wall. The E5 should not be reversing. He needs to be playing speed and reloaded. Playing speed. Get behind him, E5. And now, this is where the E5 comes into his own. He can't let that E turn around. He has to get behind him. He has to. He cannot let him get up against that back wall. Oh, this is close. This is very, very close. Now, as we said, the E3 has used all of his very valuable repair kits. E5 not letting him escape. Now, can he get the turn in before the E5 gets the reload? I don't think so. I think it's going to be for the E5.
GG to Shappy.
That was, oh no. CyberGhost, easy. That was much closer than I would have thought. I was really banking on the E5 there. And the E3, it's in the 1v1 with a tank without a turret, taking out the tracks is, I mean, if you can force them to use 2 repair kits in quick succession, then you can just push and circle of death them. But very well played by both guys there, actually, in the end. That was very impressive. Now we're going to our next matchup. So congratulations. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, you have to congrat him first before I can say the next match.
Yeah, no, so congratulations to Shappy from NOV4 clan, and commiserations to CyberGhost from the Dream Crushes DC clan. Very well played by both. 2-0 there to Shappy. He'll be going through. Now, coming up next, Dutch, who have we got?
Oh yeah, Serbia. We have Serbia, and we have Serbia. I think it's from the clan. It's from Serbia, the country, and they actually just chosen to play Mets together. This is the first time we will have a Met fight, and the Happy Kiwi will be in a STB1, and the Serbia will be in an E50M. That's pretty interesting.
Ooh,
that's
very interesting.
And it's on the copper field. Hooray.
Wow. Okay. So this is well, one. This is a very interesting map for tier 10s, especially tier 10 mediums with a view range. In terms of tank choices alone, which tank do you pick to take this fight?
I would take the E50M during his armor.
I mean, both of these players, Kiwi from Legion and Serbia, formerly from R2K Dash, both of them extremely good players. So no doubts here about skill and knowing what they're doing with the tanks. Serbia rocking that amazing pink camouflage. Such a huge fan of that one. And the Happy Kiwi in the STB1 adamant camouflage. Another strong choice.
Sexy.
Absolutely. And it's interesting. The STB has gone down. He is playing the traditional medium flank. And the E50M has gone up, which is a traditional heavy flank. Now...
Oh, but he's blind firing. He actually didn't fire like... He fired actually close to the STB1. If he does it again, well, the STB is now peaking. And actually, the E50M is spotted, but the Happy Kiwi gets a shot back. Oh my god.
Yeah, and the Happy Kiwi is a repair kit for that. He lost his driver, which is very impressive. Oh, and he's asking whether it's a blind shot. Serbia admits to it, and it actually was blind. They only spotted each other when they fired. Or, well, rather, he only spotted the STB1 adamant when the STB fired.
Yep.
And this is... The E50M is in a super strong position here. He's got the high ground, which just takes massive advantage of that super strong turret. He is hulled down in a really effective position. But he sort of knows where... And he kind of knew where he was before he even saw him. He's sort of blind firing those bushes. Yeah, and Happy Kiwi, he speed boost. Now the E50M's got the better armor profile for this kind of engagement.
Yep.
Look at that. He's wiggling, jiggling, showing him a bit of leg.
Happy Kiwi actually bounced him again. This is not looking good for Happy Kiwi. Because now Serbia has a 800 hit points advantage.
Yeah,
and my calculations are right.
Yeah, and it's even more now. And the driver for Happy Kiwi is down, and I don't think he's got a repair kit for that. So the E50M, here, a really strong tank actually. It's got the mobility, it's got the gun handling, it's got the armor, and if push comes to shove, that is a heavy and fast tank, and it can get a good ram in there. So let's see. The Happy Kiwi knows he is on the back foot. He knows he's 50% down in terms of hit points. He's got to figure out a way to try and get out, and he's been trying to back out in advance, like...
Oy.
Yeah, trying to back away from it and not get spotted to move behind the next piece. But he's bounced Serbia again. Well, no, actually, he fired at the cover in front of him, trying to take a snapshot there. Serbia's got him down to 620.
He managed to land his first shot.
Yeah, Serbia's playing way more conservatively than I thought he would have been. But now it's definitely all over for the Happy Kiwi. This is, there you go. There's 52 points worth of ram damage.
He actually bounced him.
Oh, 91 points of ram damage there, just from going into the side. A little love tap on the side from the E50M.
GG to
I have a new... Yeah, very GG. I have a newfound respect for the E50M. It's not the best tank in randoms. It's a good tank, don't get me wrong. But it's not the best medium, in my opinion. I'm not saying that's not the, it's not 100% certified, but it's just my opinion. But in 1v1, it seems to have, all the hallmarks of a great tank. But now they're going to heavy. Serbia rocking the IS-4, Happy Kiwi rocking the E100, 100 hit win advantage for the Happy Kiwi. And we are actually starting on Rockfield. Now, this is a very interesting map.
Serbia is actually... Oh, no, he's not AFK. Never mind. But...
I think he... Sorry, go on.
Yeah, okay. In the previous match, we saw that the armor from the E50M worked out pretty well. But that's of course not in all cases, because when you're fighting on long range, or at least on short range, and the enemy has good cupola armor like a Patton or so, it could be pretty hard to penetrate him, and he can penetrate you easily back because your lower plate is actually pretty big.
Mm-hmm. And all 50M, it's got those big side armor panels which are quite weak. And so when you're against more than one opponent, you can receive side shots. So it's much harder to control your armor facing to incoming fire. Now again, we're seeing Happy Kiwi, loving this color scheme. This is actually his camo is from the EuroLeague, not the Blitz Event Community League, EuroLeague. But the European League run by Wargaming that was for the playoff to get into the games in Seattle, the Amazon Mobile Masters. Lovely blue camouflage. And Serbia is just rocking a traditional Russian camouflage. Now, Serbia took the heavy route again, like he did in the E50M. And the Happy Kiwi in the E100, very heavy tank, took the medium route. And they're both spotted now. They both know where the other one. So now we can start seeing some more kind of focused engagements. You noticed early on in the games, the tanks rove around between various different areas, trying to maintain good cover positions and trying to get eyes on the enemy. Mm-hmm. So how do you rate the current position for the Happy Kiwi at the moment?
I will check it because I'm actually spectating Serbia. Let's flight with... Oh wait, yeah. Dun, dun, dun. Well, I think he's pretty much in the open right now. Like, last his position was okay, but now he's right in the open. So Serbia will come. It will come just to a fight, and I think the Happy Kiwi has not a big advantage, but Serbia has the DPM on his side.
Mm-hmm. Serbia has a. So if he can peek-a-boom effectively, but this is in 1v1, it's tricky to peek-a-boom. But he's going to get the drop.
Oh, but he bounces.
Eaten by the trucks. Now that is awkward. Now Happy Kiwi angling his turret very effectively. He's got a reload in. He needs to get the shot in to level the DPM playing field.
Yep.
Excellent there. Now I think that was Heat. Now he's on the reload. Serbia can push up. Now, if Happy Kiwi can bounce, he doesn't bounce, but he only takes 334 IS-4 there, switching to his Pramo.
Ooh.
Okay. It's like we're watching
football.
But this is really, brilliant play there. Now, Serbia knows he's going to get the shot in first. E100 goes for a ram. Really effective ram damage there by the Happy Kiwi. He could almost... Now, I would have said 3 HE shots could have finished Serbia off there. Yeah, but if Happy Kiwi had been thinking.
But actually, Serbia would be able to penetrate him back again. Oh, actually, they're now almost on the same hit points. Pretty interesting. Serbia is doing a great job with keep wiggling.
And that is excellent play there by Serbia. Oh, but Happy Kiwi gets a crucial bounce. Now, basically, they're 2 shots for each other, but Serbia has the better reload. Happy Kiwi can use the ram, though. If he goes forward now, he'll do...
Oh, and he bounces again.
So you see here, if the Happy Kiwi had 3 HE shots, he would have won.
Uh-huh.
Oh, but excellent play, though, with the turret there. Yes,
and there you go.
389. Now he's 434. Serbia needs a good roll. Oh, but he's got a bounce. He's got a bounce. Now the Happy Kiwi, he's going to be going for HE. Yep. He's got to be going for HE.
I think he found it out.
Oh, brilliant play. Really, really very closely fought. And another great sort of one-on-one face-hugging match there between the two guys. Not much in it. One shot. The difference there for Serbia to take the win. But we've gone through into a 1v1. They've played mediums. They've played heavies. What vehicle type are we seeing next?
I don't know. Happy Kiwi is saying that if they can go heavy again, but I don't know if Serbia will agree with that.
Absolutely. Serbia had a lot more.
And now he's making the mouse, taking the mouse.
Now this is a now the mouse has got a lot of HP. Now I'm almost curious. I wonder if he's going to use.
Oh, good map. Actually, good map for both of the tanks.
And this is very interesting. Serbia is not taking the armor buff. He is taking the HP buff. And his mouse has got 350 HP more than Happy Kiwi's E100. So we're on Himmelsdorf. Brilliant map. It's like the matchmaker knew what we needed.
Yeah.
Serbia's mouse, luminous pink. That is quite something. Now the question is,